What if the most profound spiritual lesson came from the most unlikely source, a talking donkey? In one of the Bible's most mysterious and thought-provoking stories, a prophet's greed blinds him to God's will until his faithful donkey becomes the voice of reason. But was this just a miraculous event, or does it reveal something deeper about divine justice and human ambition? Stick with us as we unravel the tale of Balaam and his talking donkey, a story that challenges how we see ourselves and reminds us that truth often comes from the most unexpected places. The story of Balaam is found in the book of Numbers, chapters 22 to 24 in the Hebrew Bible. It takes place during the Israelites' journey to the Promised Land. They had recently defeated the Amorites and were camped near Moab, a kingdom ruled by King Balak. The Israelites' victories terrified Balak, who feared that his kingdom would be overrun next. To counter this threat, Balak turned to Balaam, a prophet with a powerful reputation. Balaam was not an Israelite, but a diviner from Pethor, near the Euphrates River, Numbers 22:5. In the ancient world, prophets like Balaam were often seen as intermediaries between the divine and human realms. Kings relied on them to invoke blessings or curses to influence the outcome of critical events. Balak's fear of the Israelites and belief in Balaam's abilities drove him to send an envoy with lavish gifts. He pleaded with Balaam to curse the Israelites. Initially, Balaam refused, affirming that he could only follow Yahweh's will. But when Balak sent even more prestigious messengers with promises of greater rewards, Balaam wavered. Was it loyalty to God or the promise of wealth and honor that weighed heavier on his mind? God permitted Balaam to go with the officials, but warned him to speak only what he commanded. Numbers 22:20. Balaam's agreement to go suggests that he struggled to reconcile his obedience to God with his desire for the rewards Balak offered. His inner conflict would soon be tested in a dramatic and unexpected way. Balaam set out on his journey, believing he could satisfy both God and Balak. Little did he know, God had already placed an obstacle in his path to challenge his motives. As Balaam traveled with Balak's officials, God sent an angel to block his path. This angel, armed with a drawn sword, stood as a divine warning. However, Balaam, despite being a prophet, was oblivious to the angel's presence. His donkey, however, saw it clearly. In the ancient world, donkeys symbolized more than just labor. They were seen as steadfast and humble creatures, often associated with service and endurance. Kings would ride donkeys during peaceful times as a symbol of humility, contrasting the war horses used in times of conflict. Here, the donkey represents wisdom and insight, qualities that Balaam, for all his prophetic abilities, seemed to lack. When the donkey saw the angel, it swerved off the road to avoid danger. Balaam, unaware of the angel, struck the donkey in frustration. When the angel appeared again in a narrow path with walls on either side, the donkey pressed against a wall, crushing Balaam's foot. Enraged, Balaam struck the animal once more. Finally, in an even narrower spot, the angel blocked the path entirely. Balaam, furious, struck it a third time. God then performed a miracle, enabling the donkey to speak. Numbers 22:28. The donkey asked, "What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times?" New International Version. Balaam's immediate response, arguing back with the donkey, revealed his frustration and blindness to the unfolding divine intervention. The donkey's reasoning forced Balaam to confront his irrational anger. When God opened Balaam's eyes, he finally saw the angel standing before him with its sword drawn. The angel rebuked Balaam, explaining that the donkey's actions had saved his life. If the donkey had not turned away, Balaam would have been struck down, and the donkey spared. Numbers 22:33. Humbled and terrified, Balaam confessed his wrongdoing. But how would this encounter shape his journey ahead? The angel's message to Balaam was clear. He could continue his journey to Moab, but he must speak only the words God gave him. This wasn't just a command, it was a pointed reminder of Balaam's true purpose. God had allowed Balaam to go, but his motives were being scrutinized. For Balaam, this encounter was deeply humbling. A prophet who prided himself on his connection to the divine had been outdone by a lowly donkey. The symbolism here is powerful. The donkey, representing humility and service, had acted with more wisdom and spiritual clarity than Balaam, whose judgment had been clouded by ambition. The angel's presence also underscored the seriousness of Balaam's task. This was no ordinary journey. It was a test of whether Balaam would prioritize God's will over personal gain. Balaam had been warned, but would he remain faithful to God's command when faced with Balak's demands and promises? Why did God choose a donkey to teach a prophet? The answer lies in the contrast between Balaam's arrogance and the donkey's humility. This moment reminds us that wisdom often comes from the most unexpected places, and that pride blinds us to the truth. When Balaam arrived in Moab, Balak eagerly awaited the curse he had paid for. But instead of cursing the Israelites, Balaam pronounced blessings upon them. In his first prophecy, he declared that the Israelites were a people set apart and blessed by God. Numbers 23, 8-10. Balak, frustrated, took Balaam to another location, hoping a change in perspective might alter the outcome. Yet again, Balaam blessed the Israelites, proclaiming God's unchanging commitment to his people. Numbers 23, 18-24. Balak's persistence led to a third attempt, but Balaam's final prophecy went even further. He foretold the rise of a star out of Jacob and a scepter out of Israel, a prophecy often interpreted as a messianic foreshadowing. Numbers 24:17. Balak, furious, dismissed Balaam without reward. Balaam obeyed God's command, but his story didn't end there. Later actions would tarnish his legacy. While Balaam appeared to obey God during his encounter with Balak, later accounts reveal a darker side to his character. Numbers 31:16 and Revelation 2:14 indicate that Balaam advised Balak on leading the Israelites into sin through idolatry and sexual immorality. This betrayal caused great suffering among the Israelites and led to Balaam's eventual death at their hands. Numbers 31:8. Balaam's story serves as a cautionary tale. His internal conflict between faithfulness to God and his desire for personal gain ultimately led to his downfall. While he had moments of obedience, his divided loyalty and ambition overshadowed his legacy. So why did God use a talking donkey? To humble a prophet blinded by ambition and remind us all that wisdom often comes from unexpected places. Balaam's story challenges us to examine our own lives. Are we so focused on our desires that we miss the truth standing right in front of us? The tale of Balaam and his talking donkey is a profound reminder that God's lessons often come in surprising forms. It's a story of humility, obedience, and the dangers of letting ambition cloud our vision. What does this story teach you about recognizing divine truth? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more timeless stories that challenge and inspire.